It's done.
I end up, wanting to. I said, listen, let's fight. Let's forget that. Forget any lawsuit. Forget anything. Let's settle it in the ring. And that's when we were scheduled to fight.
But I've treated you with respect. I've treated you like my own kid. On a silver platter, I've given you your career, giving you your opponents that you're gonna knock out, you're gonna look great, you're gonna become a star. And you throw it all away? And you blame me?
Why does he blame you?
I have no clue.
Devin Haney has officially dropped all charges against Ryan Garcia, shocking the boxing world once again. Devin Haney has confirmed that he's no longer taking legal action against Ryan Garcia. He explained that the whole situation was unfair for him and his team, as they felt they were treated badly and lost out on major opportunities after their last fight. Despite feeling wronged, Haney decided not to continue with the lawsuit. Instead, he chose to move on and focus on settling everything the right way inside the boxing ring.
It was a up situation, for me and my team, because we got the short end of the stick. It was a guy that cheated, and I was getting all the flack. A lot of, I missed out on a lot of money. I missed out on a lot of opportunities for a guy who cheated me. But I wouldn't have wanted to do it like that, which I didn't end up doing it like that. I didn't go down that route.
It's done.
I end up, wanting to. I said, listen, let's fight. Let's forget that. Forget any lawsuit. Forget anything. Let's settle it in the ring. And that's when we were scheduled to fight.
On the other hand, Ryan Garcia responded with his own post, writing, "I'm ready for war," making it clear that he's just as eager as Devin Haney to face off again and finish what they started. Meanwhile, Devin said he's focused on improving his skills and not worrying about weight. He explained that cutting weight for the Ryan Garcia fight was one of the hardest in his career, though his recent fight at 144 pounds felt much easier. Haney now feels stronger and happier at 147 and plans to move up eventually.
I felt all right in the first fight, or my first fight at 140 against Regis. The weight cut, it was hard, but it wasn't extreme. But then for the Ryan fight, it was extreme. So,
Was it awful? Was it to the point where you thought maybe you wouldn't make it?
Not that I wouldn't make it. It wasn't that extreme, but it was extreme. I would say the fight where I felt like I wouldn't make it, the second Cambosis fight was super hard. That weight cut was bad. The Loma fight was hard. The worst one was the second Cambosis fight. The Loma fight was hard, and the Ryan fight was this number 2. That one was super hard.
So your last fight was at 144.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it was just a catch weight.
Yeah, that was easy. I made that weight easy.
So you're expecting just a breeze here?
Yeah. Well, I came in. So my nutritionist, told me to come into weight. Come into training camp bigger this camp. So I came in bigger, because obviously I had 3 pounds.
Moreover, Oscar De La Hoya, a former boxer and founder of Golden Boy Promotions, said that he was shocked by Ryan Garcia's episode in June and stressed the difference between real mental health issues and just acting out. He explained he supported Ryan since he was 16, giving advice, guidance, and career opportunities. Despite Ryan's negative behavior and blaming him, De La Hoya continues to promote him.
In June, you posted a text message from Ryan Garcia, and you said he was having an episode. Unfortunately, Ryan was having an episode. Where are you guys now, you and Ryan?
I think Ryan. I think Ryan needs to wake up. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think that when you have this kid who is tweeting and saying all this nonsense. I'll give you an example. When my fighters, Kid Austin and Raul Curiel, won underneath the Jake Paul fight, the Jake Paul card, when he fought Chavez. I tweeted, "Congratulations to my champ" or something, and then instantly, right away, a tweet comes back from Ryan, "Fuck Golden Boy." It's I understand. I understand the whole mental health. It's a serious, it's a serious thing. It really is. I know people who really are mentally ill. But there's a fine line where you're just being a fucking asshole. Grow up. Shake it off, grow up. You know, there's one thing about having mental health, but there's one thing about just being an asshole, a jerk, you know? So, yeah, I still promote him, and I'm still gonna wish him the very best and do the best job I can do to grow his career.
De La Hoya hasn't spoken to Ryan directly lately, communicating only through his manager, yet he stays dedicated to promoting him. He emphasized Ryan must face top-level opponents with no tune-ups at this stage of his career. Even though challenges exist due to outside influences, De La Hoya continues to guide and support him.
I haven't spoken to him at all. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him at all. It's like through
Months ago?
It's through a manager.
Right.
Yeah, I've done everything I can do. When I met the kid, when he was 17, 16, when he walked into my office with his parents, I gave him all the advice in the world, okay? All the positive advice, all the advice that I went through, my struggles, this, that, okay, gave him everything on a silver platter. And look at him now. They clearly didn't listen. And it's a shame because I have the answers. All you gotta do is ask. I'm not your enemy. I'm your promoter. I don't know what people are whispering in your ear, but I've treated you with respect. I've treated you like my own kid. On a silver platter, I've given you your career, giving you your opponents that you're gonna knock out, you're gonna look great, you're gonna become a star, and you throw it all away? And you blame me?
Why does he blame you?
I have no clue. I always thought it was the people around him.
Okay.
And it's always normally the case. Same thing happened with Canelo, you know. The whispers in the ear, oh, you can do much better. Oh, he's not paying you enough and this and that. And most of the time, because we've only had one fighter, I believe, that tried to break a contract because he wasn't happy. I go, okay, bye. Go see if the grass is greener on the other side. A month later, knocking on my door, you know what, I'm sorry.
Moving on, undefeated WBO welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr. is confident as he prepares to defend his title against Devin Haney on November 22nd in Riyadh. Norman says he believes Haney is nothing for him and predicts he will win by knockout. He explained that nothing Haney has said or done adds fuel to his fire. He's focused on proving himself in the ring.
I'm gonna say 0 because regardless, when I step into the ring, I'm about that action as is. So really nothing he said necessarily made me feel a certain way. And then even with I never fought anybody to his caliber or anything like that, how I feel about that is either you got it or you don't. At one point, let's say Ali, he had to have that step up fight. At one point, Manny Pacquiao, he had to have that one fight that say, is he light or is he not? At one point, Devin Haney, he had that fight that say, do you got it or do you don't? So it don't matter about who you fought in the past. It's, are you like that or not? So when the opportunity arises, can you step up to the plate? And I'm here to tell you, yes, I can.
Norman emphasized that he can adjust to any style, whether it's boxing on the outside, fighting mid-range, or getting inside. He says timing is a specialty, and once he finds it, the fight will be over. He also mentioned that he respects every opponent but is determined to leave his mark, representing Atlanta and building his legacy as the knockout king.
Well, I would say if I want to fight on the inside with him, I would do that. If I want to fight in the mid-range with him, I would do that. Or if I want to fight in the long distance fight, I would do that. I control the fight regardless. So I will show you the outside game, inside game, and the mid-range game. I'm bringing everything to the table. Now, this is the biggest thing ever. We haven't, like you just said, we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. And the fact that God chose me for this job, I'm gonna be right back, man. You chose me. I'm going to take care of this mission real quick. Shoot, just look at the jacket. I got the KO King shirt on. Shout out to my boy T.I. Tip. It's my time. This is my legacy right here. I just finna build up on it.
However, trainer Greg Hackett dropped major details about Devin Haney's league sparring ahead of his November 22nd fight with Brian Norman Jr. Hackett says Haney's performance has changed predictions from a decision to a potential stoppage. He expects Norman to start strong, but by the middle rounds, Haney's precision and power could turn the fight in his favor.
It's not gonna be that much of a shock to him. It's gonna be a big fight, but it's not a shock to him. It's gonna be a shock to Brian Norman because Brian Norman, his whole thing is proving that I'm on this level. He's gonna fight. he gonna give Dev a hell of a first 3 rounds. Them first 3 rounds gonna be hell. He's gonna fight, right? But when the fight settle, 4th, 5th, 6th round, 7th round, that's kind of getting into the water. You know what I mean? Just think about walking in water. Think about getting in the pool and it's starting off at 2 feet. And then you get to 3. And then you get to 4. And then you get to 5. And then you understand what's happening. The water's rising. It's starting to suffocate. Brian Norman, to me, is not going to be able to keep up that pace the entire night. Dev going to be stealing shots between 1 and 6. He's going to be stealing.
Hackett also stressed Haney's mental edge. He's looking for a spectacular win to shake off criticism from his last 2 fights. Norman is tough, but Hackett believes he hasn't faced this level of calculated pressure, and mistakes could be costly. Fans should watch around round 4, where Haney could start taking control.
This version of Dev that I saw was like real for sure. He knew what he wanted, he knew what he wanted to do, and he was in there working on it, and he was doing it. And it was like, all right, I see where he's going with this. You know what I mean? Like he not, and if you think about it, Dev don't just need a win. He need a spectacular win. Why? They've been shitting on him the last 2 fights. He want to shake that off. In order to shake that off, you can't just win. You got to do something spectacular. Why is it going to be looked at as spectacular? Because everybody's saying that Norman is this spectacular puncher. So if he's a spectacular puncher, and we've been shitting on him for his last 2 fights, then something got to give. I feel like Norman gonna be in a situation where he's forced to crash out. Him being forced to crash out is gonna get him hurt.
Adding to this, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, who gave his honest take on the upcoming WBO welterweight championship fight between Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., said it's a dangerous matchup. Hearn explained that while Haney's move up to 147 suits him physically, his and his father Bill's concern about getting hit could be risky against a strong puncher like Norman.
I think Devin's either going to win really easily or he's going to get knocked out. You know, the thing is Devin and Bill particularly are concerned about getting hit, right? Which is a really bad situation when you're fighting, especially when you're fighting someone who's quite a sharp puncher. I think Devin up at 47 is going to suit him physically actually really well. When we talk about Boots at 47 going up to 60, that was the same. When Devin was at 35, it was just, then he's at 40. I think at 47, physically, he's going to feel really good.
Hearn added that Haney will likely rely on his boxing skills and movement to win on points rather than engage in heavy exchanges. He mentioned Haney looked rough against Ryan Garcia, but believes he's mentally stronger now. In the end, Hearn predicted Haney would win, most likely by decision.
And I don't think, if you're concerned about your punch resistance, I think it's a dangerous game. So Devin will get on his bike against Brian Norman and he will try and outbox him. I don't think he'll run like he did against Ramirez, because I think he needed that fight. He was rough against Ryan Garcia. Do you know what I mean? He needed to overcome the demons. But you know that when Ramirez stepped in and let his hands go, you could see Devin, and you knew. And you know what everyone's thinking? Fuck. Brian's hopefully a little bit more balls to the floor than Ramirez, who just kind of went through the motions a little bit. Tried to win, but but how good's Brian Norman? I mean, because Devin's good.
I think Devin wins.
Yeah, probably wins on points.
However, Eric Gomes' responds to Devin Haney's comments and dropping the lawsuits against Ryan Garcia and explains that both sides had to compromise to make the Ryan Garcia rematch happen. Gomes said that Ryan's team agreed to certain terms during mediation, and in return, Devin Haney had to drop the lawsuit. He noted that this was a necessary step to calm the situation after all the controversy from their first fight, where Haney felt wrong because of Ryan's PED violations. Gomes added that Haney's now trying to present the whole decision as something he did willingly to show he's focused on moving forward and settling things inside the ring.
This is what I'm talking about. Now you playing double agent. Turkey told you that he wanted to reschedule a Ryan rematch with you. It was well documented that there were certain things like VADA, Ryan had to jump in, and that would appease the Haney side. But to appease the Ryan side, the mediation was you had to drop the lawsuit. So both people had to give up something in order to get the fight, because there was tension because Devin was cheated with the PED. Now he's trying to make it look like he just bailed out of the lawsuit and always wanted to not go the lawsuit way. It's over, bro.
And while boxing is heating up with Haney and Garcia, the MMA world isn't quite either. Josh Thompson, a former UFC fighter and current MMA analyst, revealed that the UFC is planning to introduce major changes to its eye poke rules, possibly as soon as next week, before UFC 322. Speaking of the Weighing In podcast, he explained that the new rule would remove referee discretion, making point deductions automatic after eye pokes. This comes after the UFC 321 main event, where Cyril Gane's double eye poke and Tom Aspinall led to a no contest, but Thompson said the UFC wants to prevent another situation like that and is moving fast to finalize the rule.
And then if it does go to the new rules, or if this new adjustment they're making, I don't know if they're really going to call it a rule. It's a new adjustment they're making to the current rule, I guess, is once you're given the hard warning inside the cage, and every time after you extend your arm with your fingers out, it will be a point. It's natural reaction for fighters to parry punches here, because even in wrestling, you see eye pokes in wrestling, that what they do is, they go to shove the shoulders, they go to snap the head. If you go to step in while I go to snap the head, you run into my fingers. So when is it going to be, what if the fighter's on the feet and you're both engaged in striking and the guy goes to lower his level or feints a takedown, and I go to stop the takedown by putting my hands on his shoulders or on the front of his face? That's how you defend takedowns, right? Is I go ahead and try to drop my elbows and my hands to get under hooks, and you run into it. I mean, or not, if you just feint it and you run into it, that's where you end up with problems. And then let's not forget, ultimately, all of this, it could all happen before UFC 322. They want to make sure this doesn't happen again. So if you rush this to the front by UFC 322, it just opens up Pandora's box for so many things. Betting is insane right now across the NBA.
It's been an eventful week in combat sports. From Devin Haney dropping all charges against Ryan Garcia and preparing for a possible rematch, to the UFC planning major rule changes, after recent controversies, the fight world never stops delivering surprises. Fans are already debating what's next for Haney, Ryan, and Brian Norman Jr., and whether the UFC's new eye poke rule will really make a difference. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest boxing and MMA updates. We'll see you in the next one.